Oh, welcome back.
Thank
You
you.
had fun?
Yeah. All right, we're live.
Oh.
We're officially live. It's the Spinnin Backfist MMA show for Wednesday, June 15th. We are here to recap UFC 275 took place over the weekend and go over some headlines. I guess we got to start with the pay-per-view because it's been a few days. It was one of the most talked about pay-per-views of the year, and for good reason. First ever UFC pay-per-view in Singapore, and they got a treat of a card. This card was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Start to finish. Prelims were great. Some crazy knockouts on the prelims. We had a strawweight knockout on the prelims.
Yeah.
We had a strawweight knockout later on in the card. And then the main event, one of the greatest fights I've seen in quite a while.
It's funny. I think I said to a few people like earlier in the week, it's always crazy how like this pay-per-view was obviously all the pay-per-views are great, but there's a certain level of where the name, like some of them aren't always going to match each other in terms of like name brand value and stuff like that. And this is one of the ones that people probably consider like lower on that total pool, but it always seems to me like the ones that are like that always deliver in terms of like action.
I agree.
Like there was, like you said, like we got Spinnin Backfist. Like we have the main event was probably the front runner right now for fight of the year.
Yeah. Minus 700. Valentina Shevchenko was going into the decision. A lot of people thought she was going to lose. So when the minus 700 fight is as good as that was, and I understand there was a lot of like laying on each other, but that was like,
but it was even like when they're laying on each other like that, and like Santos is on her back. It's like, oh my god, it's not just. Like,
and then her eye. There were so many storylines within that fight too. The eye,
the headbutt, right?
The headbutt,
huge headbutt.
Yeah,
her
eye blew up.
I thought that Santos won the first 3 rounds, but I also thought after what happened in the 4th round that Shevchenko like dominated the 4th round. That I think I tweeted, I was like, if Santos doesn't win the 5th round, she's not going to get the decision.
Yeah, I thought she won the first 3 rounds as well.
I think they
said the second round was the deciding one, right?
Second round was I don't fault anyone who says Shevchenko. Like I thought 48-47 each way was a fine scorecard.
Agreed.
The 49-46 was just preposterous.
Yep.
I don't know how you could say Shevchenko won either 1 or 3, the 1 or 3rd round.
4 and 5.
I don't see it. 4 and 5, I thought clearly were Shevchenko. But I also thought it was fucked up because like the headbutt clearly just swung the momentum of the fight. This girl, I mean, Santos. After the fact, she had to get immediate like orbital surgery. She fractured her orbital bone.
You could see it in the cage, like the bruising started by the time they were reading the decision. It was like, holy shit, that orbital's broken.
Because after the 3rd round, when I noticed it, and I think it happened at the 3rd round, so I'm sure that's when pretty much everyone noticed it. I was afraid they were going to stop the fight because
so was I.
There was just enough that you could like see her eyeball. Also, those doctors were pretty like, yeah, you're good.
Oh, well, there was one.
I was glad because, like, in a fight like that, when she's winning the fight against a champ, minus 700 favorite, like you said, like, let her go.
Did you see
for sure.
The doctor come in during the Shev fight or the check on Tyla? And then he checked on her, looked at her, was like, oh, you're good. And then he stood he went to the back of the cage and stood there. Like someone had to tell him, no, you got to get out of the cage. They're about to fight.
I didn't know.
I think it was after the 4th round. And there's this hilarious.
Can I just chill back here. I'll stay out of your way.
He looked at Tyler and was like, oh yeah, you're good. And then went to like, almost like he was about, like there was still time in between rounds. And the ref was like, no, you got to go. And he was like, oh, sorry. And then he walked away.
Should we start at the prelims, work our way up?
Honestly, the fights were like that good.
The fights were that good. Let me pull up the entire card.
We started with Jocelyn Edwards against Ronan Pasquale. Yep. The decision was a little people weren't extremely happy about, but I thought Edwards was the more active fighter, and that should be rewarded. 29-28 to right. 30-27 was a bit much, I thought.
Should be rewarded only after damage is taken into account, though, right?
Yeah, and that's why I thought Pasquale probably stole round 1, but then I think round 2 and 3 were Edwards.
See, like I kind of thought Edwards won round 1. I was a little biased. I did bet on her, but it was one of those. I thought she just won so much of the first round that I didn't think she hurt her bad enough. Pasquale didn't hurt her bad enough at the end of the round to steal it. I guess you could see how some might have felt that way. The second round, she rocked her a few times. I think the second round, she definitely won.
They both got hit a lot
for sure. Fight. I mean, Edwards was just that T kick she was doing.
She kept
bang
right in the
bang,
stomach. Yeah,
like that. That's how she won the 3rd round.
That's such an effective. Like when you're that tall and that long.
Yeah,
that's such an effective way to go about like keeping distance and essentially taking away shorter fighters great aspects of what they can do, which is what Pasquale was doing. So Edwards was like impressed me a little bit. I mean, she doesn't really
Pretty
have a
good
future.
Takedown defense for Edwards in this
Yeah,
fight.
Yeah,
too.
she did well.
She blocked a lot of them. The next fight, Silvana Gomez Juarez, the first Argentinian woman to earn a win and a knockout in the UFC octagon.
Vicious knockout too.
Unbelievably vicious knockout, especially in the strawweight division. I was watching this one on the beach. Did you see my video? I tweeted I was watching it on the beach. I was just like, oh! Everyone on the beach was like, what the fuck just happened?
I don't know what Liang was doing. Like, she just was coming in so reckless with these takedowns.
Yeah.
She was like lunging in from so far away where it was like she wasn't even close.
This was a 1 minute knockout, by the way. I think it was like a minute, 7 seconds.
The way her body was just leaning over, like just leaving her face wide open.
These
like, bink, and out.
These fighters from the Chinese Performance Institute, like, I don't know what it is. They're just not very good. Maybe they just don't have the best level.
Do you think they were just trying to load this card up with like?
But we've seen them before.
Yeah, true.
We've seen them before, like in other, like there's some names I forget off the top of my head.
The crowd's going crazy for it too, and they went silent as soon as she got knocked out.
I mean, she went for it.
No, like, she did, and the money swung crazy just for the betting line. She was the dog like all week, and literally the fight got closer. She was like minus 120 by the time
the Asian markets may have taken over.
They were like the money was. I don't know if the money was coming crazy. It must have been coming in crazy on her. Like it swung a huge.
I could see why you took her because her first fight, she gassed against Carnelozzi, and then you could see how like a year's time she improves. Her gas tank's a little bit better. It's in Singapore, like she's fighting not that great of a fighter, but she just I mean she really got up off that one knee. And just, she was she got up and was like, punch me again. I felt bad.
You know, the picture of like Marge Simpson, like throwing the crazy haymaker. It was one of those. 37 years old, by the way. I think her opponent was 24. Pretty impressive. Like, you know, the old vet getting the win there.
That was a meme fight. That was just like a meme fight.
Yeah. The next fight, Kang Kang versus Dana Baccarel.
All right.
Another crazy fight.
I'm really impressed by Kyung Ho Kang.
Yeah.
I think he's old though, and he's probably
bad in this fight.
Yes, but then his round 2 and round 3, he looked legit.
Great. He was also one of those guys who gets hurt and just starts swinging.
He was jabbing his face off too. Like later on, he really like once he like kind of found his distance, found the timing.
I think he's somewhat. I mean, he's probably a top 40 guy, but he's 32. I'm saying like let's get this. Like I don't know how much he wants to fight, but he's a guy that I think like the UFC probably will want to push him because the South Korean market is so massive from a perspective of just fans. Like, I mean, obviously BTS, look at BTS, and then they love I know this
BTS going on hiatus. Breaking news,
Holy shit.
Yesterday they announced it.
Wow. And I also know because I'm a Tottenham fan, and then Heung-min Song is a player on Tottenham who's really, really good.
Zombie about to retire. Maybe you need a new South Korean star.
And I think this guy has the look too. He's I like him a lot. I'm kind of like excited. I'm excited for his next fight. That's
Brendan Allen versus Jacob Malcone. This is the decision fight. Brendan Allen, pretty dominant.
I don't think. I honestly minus 300. Bad bet in our part. Probably
maybe not minus 300. Yeah.
Malcone, look, he's strong, man. I give him a lot of credit. Like he's tough to watch. Isn't like he's just not exciting at all. He's just straight like.
Lee, what did you think of that?
He's a wet blanket wrestler, but
Malcone by decision was the side.
I think so too.
The bet.
I think so too.
That was plus 800.
I honestly thought there was a good chance he was going to get the decision.
Yeah,
I liked the decision, but I also, if Malcone won, I wouldn't have complained.
Correct.
I watched the majority of this card on my phone without volume. I should also state that, like a judge, to be honest.
I just felt like
Judge
controlled
they
have
the
judge they can't get commentary.
They have
so you get crowd volume,
but they have it's like the noise canceling, kind of like if you have like a sensory overload, you'd wear those,
or like a baby on, like Drew Brees' baby.
Yes, yeah. I by the way, I mean I don't have a kid, but if I would not bring my baby anywhere near like a large amount of fans. However, if you're winning the Super Bowl, it makes sense.
I think I would if I won the Super Bowl.
You want your baby there for the
like
picture.
Bring a baby as a fan. That's craziness.
Yeah,
maybe a baseball
baby
game
at a Padres game. Yeah.
Okay, baseball game is like maybe an inning.
They
or
actually
two.
had it was funny the Simba cam, and they was just all the.
They love doing that.
I like that. Padres pretty fucking good team, by the way.
Yeah, very good.
I didn't even realize that Luke Voigt was on. They beat the Rockies like 8-0.
Rockies. Yep.
Yeah. What was up next? This was tough.
This was the parlay buster.
we
Oh,
had
man.
Steve
Just
Garcia.
bad bet on our part.
And again, we
Steve
had
Garcia's
a 1
six.
minute knockout. Steve Garcia, what the fuck, man?
And I was so upset with myself that I like pride myself on being almost loyal to a fault in my gambling. That I cashed a plus 500 ticket on this guy, the Contender Series, and then faded him. I deserved it. Shame on me.
will you ever bet against Mahashate
No, never.
again?
I vowed on Twitter. I promise I will never bet again. I don't care if he's fighting like Volkanovski. I will not bet against
I'm
him.
so
I get a
excited
baseball
for him.
bat.
I'm so excited for him.
Yeah.
Dude, that right. It was like
That
honestly,
guy-
Garcia, like he walked into it, but the way
He
he just like
did.
stepped back, it was like bing.
I'm
It
gonna
was
be
like a
honest.
firefight
Right
from the
hands.
beginning.
I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot of guys that I respect as MMA gamblers that were on Steve Garcia. We just had a bad read, and I think we were on the wrong side. But
What
that
was-
happens.
What was the odds on Steve Garcia?
Minus 140.
And
No,
went up-
no,
it was-
more.
It
80.
closed like 180. Yeah, like the money was going.
Our
on.
CLV
Not
on
as
that
bad. I
crazy.
thought that was
Maj,
at
I
least
think
200.
I guess it was the same thing. It was a similar thing, at least the Contender Series. Like he was such a big dog because literally there was no tape on him.
Yeah.
Like he was so unknown, and he's very young. Like I think he's only like
you were
20,
talking about that.
He's only 22 or 23, something like that.
Let's
He's
as
very
we go
young.
through the card for like some of the winners and losers, kind of like future book, like who we think their next opponent could be.
Good call.
We don't have to go back to like Jocelyn Edwards, but Brendan Allen, what do you think's next for him?
At middleweight, he's
He's-
not ranked, is he?
No, but I think he may get a ranked guy. Like
I feel like he could get someone who's like 15, 14.
Like if Rodolfo Vieira beats Chris Curtis, maybe him.
But he got knocked out by Chris Curtis.
I know, yeah. I forgot that.
I was trying to think of maybe like a. I mean, if you want to give him a ranked guy, I think he's still ranked.
He might not get a ranked
like,
guy.
if
That's
to-
not a given.
Yeah, that's. I just don't think he didn't look that good against
Yeah.
Malcone, and he has a lot
I
more
thought he looked
experience than
pretty
Malcone.
dominant.
I didn't. Malcone.
But Brendan Allen's only 24, right?
He's young. I think he might be 26. maybe.
26. Wait. He said on the mic.
He would have
He is
experience,
young,
too,
though. He's
for that
definitely
age.
young.
And that's somebody that
He did beat Kevin Holland
I know.
early on, like a couple of years ago, but still.
By the
I mean,
way,
that's a good win.
I rewatched Kevin Holland knocking out Souza
Oh yeah.
on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, that's like such a like that was as it was like seconds after he was just like on the ground talking to him like, oh, this is nice punch. Yeah.
He said he had a dream about it. In an interview, he said he really did.
Oh, really?
He had a dream when he was like a kid of like being like taken down like by Susan, was like on his back, like, and he said it was like surreal that he literally was like then he like I don't know what you call it, deja vu, whatever the fuck you call it. Just had like a moment
True.
where he's like, I'm here now, like I'm literally
Holy
he's
shit.
in my guard, like this is crazy. Like this is crazy.
I don't
And he
think
just knocked him out.
I don't think a crazy fight for Brendan Allen would be like the winner of Jirayev Buckley for this
Oh, yeah.
weekend.
Okay,
Like-
that's good.
Like that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't hate that.
I don't think he does like a top 15 guy or fringe top 15 for me is like a Brad Tavares. Which
That's who was in my brain. 'Cause I know
Okay.
he has a
Yeah.
fight soon, but there's part of me that thinks that Brad Tavares would knock him the fuck
That's-
out.
I think Brad, yeah.
I don't think he's at like that level yet, but he could get like another like Jirayev Buckley
Maybe
type of
but what-
25
That
guy.
makes sense.
Could
I
he
don't hate
fight?
that.
What about he will get to his fight, but Jake Matthews?
I almost think Jake Matthews looked like too good. For
Oh,
him.
yeah.
He looked. I mean, we'll get
Maybe
to
you
it.
give Jake Matthews a top 15 guy after
He,
that.
did,
I
he
think
looked. Obviously,
100%.
we'll get to it. He might have been my favorite performance of the night.
By the way, I want the answer to this as well. Logan DeWolf in the chat says, who
Oh, yeah.
actually said they could last around?
Oh,
with
that
Money
was
Mask? We
Spider.
tweeted that
Spider was
anonymously.
talking
It was
shit.
Spider.
Come on, Spider. He knows he.
I went up to Jack Mac immediately that day. We were at the stream, and I was like, "Who said that?" And he
was
said
like-
Spider. And I was like, all right, because
Yeah.
I sat there. I was like, I think if me and Mighty Mouse got in the cage, I don't think I could last 20 seconds.
Do you know who my guess was in my head? I thought it was going to be Jersey Jerry.
Yeah.
Which,
that's
by the
not a
way,
bad guess.
I offered to Jersey Jerry. Just want to put it out there. Something that I haven't offered in years. I said, if you need me to, I'll challenge E to the Octagon.
Mm.
I said, listen, if you need me to, I could get that money back.
You
The
missed
hard
it.
way.
He made a very funny call to E's lawyer yesterday.
Really?
Very
I-
funny.
How much does he owe him?
Like 30
30,
something thousand.
35 grand.
Oh, that's a lot of money.
It's for real.
Sorry, I thought it was like
E,
$1,500.
If you're out there.
No. It was
you
there was a
motherfucker.
contract. But yeah, I said to Jack Mac, I was like, I think if I got even me, if I got I'm so slow and out of shape. I think he would literally
He's so fast.
he would shoot a single leg and be on my neck before I even knew what happened.
He would do like some weird like ankle shit.
I was gonna say
I
he
said,
would
no,
do
he
one of
would
those
dive.
Ryan
He would
Hall
shoot- he would
rolls
shoot-
into
Imanari
your
Ryan
leg
Hall
He
line.
would
roll,
shoot a
like,
single
right
leg.
into
He
it.
would climb up me like a tree and be on my back. And even if I thought I was slick for like a half a second,
Could you last
tried
1
to-
minute versus Glover?
What?
No,
I just said I couldn't last 20 seconds versus Demetrius Johnson.
Glover would
No.
the second he connects.
Yeah, he would just maul me.
Maybe if I could run around
Murder.
the octagon for a minute.
He's faster than you.
Yeah, no
Glover?
way.
I think so.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Are you nuts?
Yeah.
He looked slow.
You're in a cage. Like you can't like run like
That
this,
is
like you're in a cage.
Yeah.
Like he would get the angle, like the angle of pursuit, like in football. He would just fucking like I'm just putting me on my back and just mashing my face in immediately.
Do we have an opponent for Mahashate?
I mean, like Mahashate.
Does he get a top 15 for that?
No.
knockout?
No. It was his debut.
True.
What about like?
I think he gets.
You know who
would
I
love to-
said? I said Jai Herbert, Frank Camacho.
Camacho just got
He got
axed.
cut. Yeah,
He got cut. Never
Yeah.
mind them. Bring him back.
Jai Herbert just got another fight. He's fighting in
Jim
London.
Miller just beat.
Oh, Nicholas Mata.
Maybe give
Yeah.
him someone like that.
That's not bad.
I would like to see him with someone that could throw hands. He's very striking's very good.
What about a like a Rafa Garcia or a
Yeah.
Chris Grutzmacher?
Oh, Grutzmacher. How about this?
Yeah, I don't hate
I
that.
tried to interview him when I was in high school. UFC shut me down. They were like, no way. I was like, he's got like 300 Twitter followers. Come on.
That's crazy.
Joshua Kulabau versus Cho Sang-woo. This is a 3-round decision. This was the premier fight of the prelims, the final fight of the prelims. Kulabau, a lot of hype going in. He gets the job done.
I'm so mad at myself.
Why?
So
Did
mad.
you have
Did
a
you
bet on
change?
this?
Me and Lee were team.
I
Kulabau.
was on the Kulibao train the whole week, and I was like, if he's gonna win, he's gonna win by decision. So I cashed my decision bet. I had him
Okay.
at 4-1 plus 400.
Nice.
Cash that, but I had 2 units on him at plus 195 at the beginning of the week. So I was just beside myself that I didn't actually go through with it. But he looked solid.
His striking looked great.
Yeah.
There were some really nice couple of landing, some really nice combos, ducking under Choi's punches. Like he was big time. I mean, he had Choi hurt really bad.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought that the fact there was a split decision was horrendous.
Horrendous.
Oh, I
Should've
forgot
clear-
that was a
Should have
split
clearly
decision,
been
yeah.
unanimous. I was shocked when it was split.
Like which round do you think he definitely didn't win round 1?
I mean,
The
he
second.
it had to
round
be
one he
2.
got smoked.
It
I
had to
mean,
be 2.
He just, but I'm saying he didn't win 2 rounds.
No way.
Like I thought you could even like there was 30-27. I don't even think would have been like crazy. And there was actually none. There were 2 29 28s and then one for Choi's way. But Kulabau looked really good. He looked really sharp.
Who could he get next?
He I think should get someone decent. I mean, at featherweight,
Well, he already faced Charles Jourdain, and he said afterwards that he wants
really
that
good fight,
he
yeah.
wants that rematch.
honestly, so if he
How
if-
long ago was
if
that
he-
fight?
That was his
maybe a year and a half, maybe.
like 2 fights ago, I think, for him.
Maybe too
I think
soon
if
for a
Jourdain
rematch.
lost, see, I don't know if they want to do like a rematch like that, but if Jourdain lost to Burgos, I think it would make sense.
This is the one that came to mind for me was Damon Jackson. After
That would make sense. I don't hate that.
after
That'd be good.
he just fought 2 rangy guy. He would get like a grappler, so it would be a different test for him. He's
Yeah.
basically gotten all strikers so far. So I think that Damon Jackson would be a good shout.
Then the main card, we move on to the main card, which honestly, start to finish, was fucking awesome. We didn't have a single fight really miss on this card. Jack Della Maddalena kicked it off versus Amiv. We were on Amiv on this one, foolishly. Thankfully, the parlay was already busted, so this didn't hurt.
We
as
didn't have
bad.
an even.
No, we didn't have it.
Oh, we didn't?
No,
I think
I was on Amiv.
No, I said as well. I thought I didn't bet it. I said
I ended
if
up taking
if I
Della.
did, it would be a me. But
I thought it was in the parlay.
I
No.
ended up
He was
taking
plus money.
Della, and I was impressed by him. But I also think, I mean, Amiv had that weird, like it looked like a heating pad incident
like
It
on,
was like
sunburn,
a
like
half a
something.
sunburn, yeah.
but it was like almost too perfect to be a sunburn.
That's
you know
why
what
I
mean?
agree.
They-
I think
they
it probably
said
was a
He
heating
might have.
pad.
They said
And
he might have
then-
fallen asleep with a towel
Well,
on.
someone said
in the
someone
sun.
like fucked with him and like moved the towel.
Yeah.
Someone,
So then he just like burnt his whole side, which like kind of fucked up to do when you got to fight. In, like, a couple
And I saw
days.
Jack in his interview with Megan O'Leary afterwards was like, "Oh yeah, I saw it. I was just trying to whip it as hard as I fucking could."
he also, I mean, the body shot that he hit him with, like, wasn't that
it was on the opposite
opposite
side,
side?
so it wasn't
Opposite,
the
yeah.
red side.
people were speculating he may have been injured coming in. I don't know, or
The
maybe
way he went down was crazy.
yeah, because he's also like, I don't know. I think he's a tough guy.
He had never been finished. I think that was in
Yeah.
the UFC. I know he hadn't.
Yeah.
I was
And, like,
surprised
a
by
good-
the
and a pretty
whole.
good
I was
sample
like,
size.
I thought the way that fight was going to go, I thought Della would win just based upon activity and what we saw from judges the past few months. Just more so activity has been given over like holding somebody up against the fence for like maybe it's 2 minutes of control time. But if Della wins the other 3 minutes of the round, he's going to get the round. But then he won in what, first 3 minutes
Few
of the
minutes.
yeah.
Also, kudos to him.
First 2 minutes, yeah.
He was in a really tough submission. Like,
Yeah.
Ameev had him. Like, I
Yeah.
thought he was like, I thought he was
Facts.
done.
I forgot about
He
that.
did. He, honestly, that was really. I
Early,
thought that
yeah.
was very impressive and showed like kind of how well rounded his game was. I thought that was in it. Like, I thought he was fucked. I thought there was one point where I thought he was like in deep trouble. Then he kind of rolled. He rolled. It was funny. I was watching. He trains, I believe, with Adesanya in that same camp.
Mhm.
And I watched Adesanya. He does great. Like he does videos of like him watching the pay-per-views.
I
Yeah,
watched
it's
his
awesome.
main
And
event
even
one,
him,
yeah.
like he was like, oh fuck, he's fucked. Like he rolled into it for a second, and he was like, oh no.
Is that
no.
live?
He
I
No, it's
posted.
think they're
YouTube.
edited.
He
YouTube
posted
video.
after the fact, but like it's like him watching it live.
And he's always got like his boys over and
Yeah,
stuff.
he has
It's like a
friends
cool
over, they all
environment.
watch it together.
And it's all like during the day because
Yeah.
over there.
yeah,
His
d-
reaction to the main event was incredible. Not quite as good as Dana's reaction, but it was really good.
yeah.
Della, next for him, I wrote down some names like Daniel Rodriguez, Randy Brown, Baeza, Fiallo.
I like Baeza.
I like Baeza too. I think just the fact that it's only his like second fight.
Yeah.
And
No,
it's,
Don't give him Baeza. Jesus.
You think that's too tough?
Listen, I'm a big Baeza guy. I think I would hate to see that matchup.
Baeza loses again.
Baeza
Oh,
gonna get
man.
knocked out terribly again. That would be awful. What
He's
about
better than Fiallo too. I think
Yeah.
overall he just got caught.
Yeah, and you can't give Fiallo someone like him right after Fiallo gets knocked out like that.
True. I'll get better at my fantasy bookings.
The next fight, Ev, you said this was maybe your favorite performance. of the
JJ
night.
just asked, do you think Della gets a fringe top 15 guy? No, not yet.
No,
I
I
mean,
don't think so.
or
He might.
Just because his
They
first,
were pretty high on
No,
I
him.
think just
I-
because his first fight was such a tomato
The
can.
Leech. Someone said JJ says the
The Leech is fighting in on
Yeah.
that the Long Island card.
I
Shit.
don't think like Ponzinibbio would be a bad guy.
For Della,
Like
that'd
Ponzinibbio,
be a lot.
it would be a lot. But
Ponzinibbio is
up.
really experienced.
but
Yeah.
if you want to give him,
Ponzinibbio is such a step up in my opinion.
I agree that's too far of a step up. But if they were going to give him a fringe top 15 guy, that's the guy I think they would go with.
Yeah.
Right. Like
he just lost his ranking in that fight to Pereira. That was
Maybe
a really
like-
good fight.
at least,
I think Matthews should get like a Ponzinibbio.
Oh, he's on ranked.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think-
he was because he was just.
Yeah.
It was literally him.
that was like
Pereira
a
was
top
like
15
just on the
matchup, yeah.
outside, and Pereira beat him in a close. It was a really good
Yeah.
fight.
I think
close fight.
Ponzinibbio onto the Matthews Fiallo.
Yeah.
Matthews, I'm gonna let
Matthews
that talk.
Ponzinibbio would be a good fight.
But
That even, but
you
Matthews,
were really impressed by Fiallo or Matthews.
dude, I was so like he was so sharp, he was so fast and so
Yeah.
powerful at the same time. Like he did not miss.
Fiallo looked
And
out
Fiallo,
of his league.
I agreed. And I thought Fiallo honestly showed a pretty strong chin.
Yeah, me too.
Like Matthews landed some big, like it took it like probably 4, 5, 6, 7 like huge shots to really hurt him. And then finally he just like knocked him out cold with the last one.
But looking at Fiallo, I think this run has been a success for him. Like he
Oh,
won
for
3 out of
sure.
4,
Won
and
fans,
and
for
like
sure.
take
Action
one
fighter.
Dana's like support.
Dana loves him
the
still.
guy.
give
Yeah.
him like now. I think somebody like him go back, train some more,
Yeah.
like work on your
Now you take your
You know,
weaknesses.
he's young too. He's only like 26, 27.
yeah. Then
Fiallo's sneaky young.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
and he could. I mean, he's from Portugal. He could have like he could be. I can't think of another Portuguese fighter. Obviously the Brazilians, but
Yeah.
Cape.
oh,
the guy
Capes,
Cape
Brazil
is-
or
no,
Portugal.
Portuguese, yeah.
Nice. So Cape and him, but Fiallo, I think could maybe open the UFC to a new like at Spain, Portugal.
I remember watching Jake Matthews get a knockout on the card that Ronda Rousey got knocked out on, which was in Australia.
Mhm.
It was UFC 193. It was like November 14th. remember that's every time because Bill Burr was at the Garden, and I was thinking about going. I was like, I'm not going to go to watch the UFC card. I'm like, thank God I watched it because Ronda Rousey gets knocked out.
Yep.
I became a fan of him that night. This was like the performance I've wanted out of him since that night.
Yeah.
I watched an interview he did, and it was reading himself. He kind of talked about how I think he early on, like he was like more like action fighter, like he was in this fight.
Yep.
And I think he said he kind of got into a low where he had a bunch of fights canceled. He was just like kind of being a little too conservative in his fights.
Got it.
And he had a whole year off, and he kind of just said like, fuck it, I'm going to be like my old self. Like I'm going to let my hands go, like be aggressive.
I think he got more tatted up than the last time we saw him.
That's what's funny because
He looked like a killer out there,
he,
man.
like, as sounding thing, like he looks like a warrior, like Viking. Like,
Yeah.
with, like he got like the two
The
like
braid.
blades like this.
He looked
and
cool.
just tatted up. And I love the shrug. He knocked him out. He was like,
Yeah, that was
like,
good.
he's like,
Best
Yeah,
selling.
I'm back. Like,
There it is.
That was awesome.
The thing that like when I hear these stories and those guys talk about how he's like, I have these fights where sometimes I was too conservative, whatnot. I think to myself how it's like we don't allow that to happen as MMA fans. Because we're also usually fans of other sports, and we look at the sports like football, basketball, baseball. They have so many games. Like they can, like
true.
if a rookie or a guy that's only like in his second year has first 10 games of the season, he's like, oh wait, I'm not being aggressive enough. I'm not being conservative, or I'm being too conservative. Then he looks at and says, okay, this next month I'm going to change my game. UFC, MMA, you only at best have 3 or 4 fights a year.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how they go, but you can't really like change that. And then like what happens if, I mean, we've all had off days. What if you just happen to have an off day when you go to work for one of your 3 fights a year?
Did you see what Anthony Smith said about the main event?
Yes,
Saying that both guys had their worst off day of their career.
Yeah.
I agree 1,000%.
I don't think he's totally off in
Yeah.
saying that. I don't think he's. Well, obviously we'll get to that fight. But I kind of agree. Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
So next
on.
for Jake Matthews, like a
I think
Ponzinibbio.
someone, because even his last
Yeah.
What about
his last fight was losing to Sean Brady.
yeah?
Who, like,
Oh, he
obviously
fought Sean Brady. Yeah.
Which he held his own. He ended up getting submitted like in the 3rd round.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I mean, obviously not the guy's.
He actually,
he's a monster.
like
He's
that
never
comment.
lost.
Viking Matthews is the new C-level Kane.
yep, Viking Matthews. But yeah, so yeah.
I like Ponzinibbio next
Matt,
round.
I would love to see him fight another because I mean he just looks his striking looks so good.
If we think if we think that Ponzinibbio is too much, what about a Chaos Williams?
I
I
think
would,
he would
I would
just
be down with that as well. I think that's a better of a fight.
For Matthews, I don't think Ponzinibbio is too much. The
That's
way
true.
he looked in this fight, I don't think that's
I think
too
you
much.
just got to go.
I think that'd be a good
I
fight.
also
He's been in the UFC for a while.
That's what I'm saying. He's
Been
very
in the UFC
experienced.
since like
I think that's a
2014.
good fight.
He-
I don't
it's
hate
time
that
to go.
fight.
You know,
he got signed at 19.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Damn.
It's great. It's wild. But I think I don't know if I don't know if Fiallo is. I think we were over. I haven't been on the Fiallo hype train. I know that for myself. I think that a lot of people have, like just MMA in general, have been thinking that Fiallo is
like some kind of next Kamzat.
exactly.
Kamzat,
And
Oh,
I
yeah,
I
no,
don't
no.
think he's really
I
like
think you
there.
just combined cum shot and
I think I
Kamzat.
did.
Yeah, that's
I
awesome.
did a little combined,
Perfect.
yeah, hybrid.
The only what was I going to say right before you talked, Lee? Damn it! You were talking about Matthews,
Chaos
Ponzinibbio,
Williams.
Chaos. Oh, Sean Brady was on Okamoto's show,
Oh, yeah.
and then he was like, "I feel like I'm the one left out in this title division."
He's right.
The title,
He is. I mean,
but also how old is he?
Kiesa performance is very impressive.
Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's like 27.
Yeah, I think 20. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I get it, but also like
He's not a Philly guy, is he?
he is.
He is.
He is.
He's at the Daniel Gracie.
Yeah,
Undefeated.
yeah.
Yeah, and that might go down this weekend. That undefeated.
That's what Court McGee against.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah. Versus Jeremiah Wells.
That'll
Damn,
be a
there's a
good
lot
fight.
riding on
Yeah,
that
it's like
fight
it's like a
for
pick 'em-
Lee especially.
It's like a
Philly.
It's like a pick'em
You're
fight
right.
too.
Nah, but Phil
In
Lee,
terms of
go
odds.
Celtics, Phil Lee.
Wiley Zhang versus Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Did you guys know that Joanna was going to retire the second she lost?
No,
had
I
a
said
gut
it.
feeling.
No,
we said it
the
at
way
the
she
same
was
time.
taking off her gloves, I was like,
Before
"Why is
she
she
even-
doing that?"
Before she even took the gloves
Yeah.
off, as soon as she got knocked out, crazy spinning back fist. Obviously, shout out spinning back fist. Shout out Wiley Zhang. We told her, get a big knockout for the show. She did it, and there was just something about it. When I saw her like throw the punch and go down, I was like, I think she's done.
Well, she did this thing too where like she wasn't like out cold, but she was like her legs were gone. She was out, and you saw she lifted her head up and just was like,
Yeah,
She
Damn
fell
it.
right on her face though.
you could tell
It was like crazy. She went down swinging, literally.
Yeah, you could see her consciously in her head be like, "Fuck!" Like I just got knocked.
Do you think
out.
she knew going into the fight, if I lose, I'm going to retire?
I think
Probably.
the way she was talking was like, I went all in for this fight, and I think she realized while going all in, she was like, I don't have the same feeling anymore.
Yeah.
And I think
a good
she
fight
still
too. Like the first round was,
and maybe she was like, "This is my
Zhang was,
last
like, more
go,
dominant,
and if I
but-
win this, then
Because they
yeah.
said the winner was getting a title fight. Dana had
Yeah.
said that, so that was kind of like go all in. But that also shows you, like when someone like her, she hadn't fought in 2 years, where Wei Lang has just been fighting rows, like just killers for the last 2 years. Like had a
Joanna
bunch of
looked
fights.
pretty fast in the first round. I thought
No, she didn't look bad. But I just thought Wei Lang just was a different. Like it just was like
she was stronger,
just
faster.
stronger, faster,
Not-
just or stronger, just bigger.
Bigger.
Like
Because
more
Joanna's
aggressive,
hands are
too.
so fast, but Wei Li like almost looked just as fast from a
Yeah, I think
striking
so.
perspective.
Joanna
Yeah.
ate some bombs before she got
Yeah,
knocked
she
out,
did. No,
too.
she definitely did.
That was tough. I had the fight does go the distance in that, and
big
so many
odds, too.
parlays, and like
you
that was
see
the one I
Meatball's tweet?
lost.
She was like, "There goes my KO of the
You
year."
know, and I don't know about that.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Hers was more like,
Obviously, listen,
He got a
obviously,
bigger
like,
pop
dead
too.
girl.
doing it to Joanna, like just a more impressive opponent.
yeah,
But like you said, like I mean, like she did it to like her opponent literally like she got like shot.
yeah. She was like flat.
Like she was flatlined, unconscious for like minutes.
Yeah,
Like
Joanna never even went. Like it was a phenomenal knockout.
I still
But-
prefer the meatball one.
me too.
I think so, too.
Joanna had enough consciousness after it to realize, oh, this is
Yeah.
it. And then she gave the interview, and then after the fight, like when she was giving her post press conference or post fight press conference and whatnot, and the interview she was doing with Megan O'Leary,
She was all
she
there.
looked at, she was all there, and she was like, "Hey, I had a great run," and she was obviously very emotional. And
Yeah.
I mean, she's one of the like when people talk about great female fighters ever and great UFC fighters ever, Joanna will always be in conversation in my opinion.
No
sure.
doubt. No doubt.
sure,
She
one of the
was
best
so
of all
dominant,
time.
especially like in the time she was dominant. It was right after Rousey, so it was
Yeah.
like there needed to be someone stepping
Mhm.
up in that, and she stepped
She
up.
she grew the 115 division like by
Absolutely.
herself.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
she's
Carla Esparza, I said,
Yeah,
saw she
God
said,
bless.
I'm in no rush to fight Wiley
I think
Zhang.
Wei
God
Lang-
bless.
Wei
Yeah,
Lang
no
is
shit,
going
you're in
to
no
run
rush.
Through her.
God
Yeah.
bless.
Absolutely run through her.
Like Whaley's wrestling looked really
She looked
good.
really strong,
great.
Really good.
strong.
Like,
Yeah.
her at Cejudo's camp. So Cejudo had Jiri looking like that crazily
Yeah.
in this fight. I couldn't believe some of his the grappling in general.
Well, Joanna, this was something that Lee brought up, and I saw on Twitter too. Joanna is another guy or another individual that was an American top team, and they've had a
Yeah.
tough run.
Yeah.
But
Is Dustin Poirier going to be the guy to step up? And
yeah,
bring that back to
Jorge,
them?
I called it the Colby curse, the Colby Covington curse, but Oh.
Jorge, Amanda Nunez.
Yeah.
Kayla Harrison's still winning.
who else is there?
I'm looking it up. now.
Nunez
You know-
left too after she lost.
But like
I
remember
think
like
Grant
even like
Dawson's
some of the
there.
smaller ones like Morozov like getting knocked out by Douglas
After he was winning
yeah.
big too.
like it's
Yeah, to De Silva.
The star of their gym, Valerie Lareda, is still winning.
We were talking about her, and I got Valerie Lareda and Vanderoba. I said, "Oh, is her last name Vanderoba?" And then Lee just started laughing way too much.
Yeah.
I was like, "Chill. No, we love Vanderoba on this podcast."
Rosenstrike just lost and he's an ATT guy. Like he just lost
yeah.
against Volkov. Like
Mm.
there's been a bunch of main events recently where they have not.
Paige Van Zant,
they-
Junior Dos Santos, Austin Vanderford, of course. Well, they are having AEW success.
True. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. If you write them
Shout
to
out Dan
win.
Lambert.
yeah. Speaking of impressive grappling, though, I thought Talia Santos in this fight against Valentina Shevchenko showed some incredibly impressive grappling and impressive strength. Like I thought Shevchenko was going to be able to bully her around. I actually had an all-time Old Takes Exposed tweet right before the fight. I was like, I'm not buying the hype at all. Like she's going to run through her another night at the office for the bullet. And then it was just, the hardest fight she's had in forever.
That's one of those at the end we get the decision. You just got to quote tweet and be like, saw it the whole way.
Yeah. It was
Like
just
never a doubt.
What the fuck?
We kind of talked about it earlier. Yeah, we talked about what rounds to give. We
Yeah.
talked about what rounds we thought who won. I don't think it's a robbery. The 49-46, disgusting.
Yeah, horrible.
Next for Valentina,
Also,
she called.
I thought Shevchenko at the end when she was it looked like she was going for like an arm triangle, like head and arm triangle, but she wasn't getting it at all, and she was just laying there for a minute. I wanted to see like a little more urgency out of someone that was at risk of losing the title.
I do. I know what you're.
I always just think because it kind of reminded me a little, like obviously the fights themselves weren't similar, but it reminded me a little bit of like the Reyes John Jones, where it was like, there was a strong moment where like Reyes won the first 3 rounds, but I mean the third round was like close, and this one it was the second round that was close. But it was like once like John Jones like dominated the 4th round, in my head you're just like fuck, like if they don't win this 5th round, like they're not going to strip the belt.
Yeah.
The
But
fact
still 49-46 was egregious, but
the fact Tyler fought that well with one eye was very impressive to
that's
me.
I think if her eye doesn't get fucked, that she wins one of those last 2 rounds, it makes it like clear.
Yeah.
But she'll be back. I don't know. Orbital bone, probably she's going to take some time off.
Yeah.
Next up for Chev, she called up Maisha Tate.
If she beats Lauren Murphy was the call out.
And then I think
that's July 2nd, I believe.
And then I don't know if Tyler will be ready, but
that's a flyweight fight.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
And then Manyo Fior against Caitlin Chukagian. I mean, I think Fior wins that.
That's the Paris card, right?
Yeah. And then if Tyler's ready, then maybe they'll be like, hey, Tyler, if you want your rematch,
you get the winner of that.
You get the winner of that, and then that winner goes in.
Poor Caitlin. Like, they're making her just win 100 fights to get back to the top.
We'll even go to that too.
Like Caitlin could get I think if Caitlin beats Fior, I wouldn't be surprised if she fights Valentina again in December.
See, with Santos, I feel
Depends
that for
on
Santos because I think Santos almost fought so well that Valentina's gonna like try to not fight her.
I don't think she wants anything to do with Fior. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Okay. It's very French.
They're making fun of you for saying.
Yo, I say it wrong every
Maisha.
time. I'm going to
Misha,
say names wrong.
Maisha.
Steven's dead over here.
He's dead. Crying face emojis.
I love crying face emojis.
Who's on the current female MMA Mount Rushmore?
All right.
So
Ronda.
Rousey there for
Ronda.
historical.
I think
you gotta
Amanda.
put Cyborg there. Do you put Gina Carano there because she was
her new movie just came out? If you want to watch,
and now Ronda said she would come
the
out
Ben Shapiro one.
Yeah, the Ben Shapiro one.
And Ronda said she'd come out of retirement and fight her.
I saw that.
In MMA.
Yeah.
I feel like
someone give them enough money
to
make
like
that happen.
Amanda's got to be there.
Amanda's on it without a doubt.
Do you think Joanna gets the last spot?
It's Joanna or
Amanda, Ronda,
Cyborg,
and Joanna could get the lower weight in there. See, Valentina's like right. Valentina's right there too. It's tough with 4.
Joanna's definitely over Rose.
So yeah.
I was the reason I say Joanna is because I think you need some representation in the smaller divisions.
Yeah, Rose beat her twice.
Rose knocked her out.
That is true.
And Rose knocked her out in MSG or Brooklyn.
Yeah,
MSG.
MSG.
That's
so
a tough one.
Yeah, that is tough.
I'm 100% Amanda's on there.
Yeah,
she has to be.
That's an interesting question that we should put on. We should even make a graphic
Amanda,
for
Ronda. I say Amanda, Ronda, Cyborg, Gina Carano.
Okay.
I thought you were about to say Gina Mazzani.
Gina Mazzani, shout out. She's
like Jillian Robertson.
Yeah, she's the Alaska's finest, right?
Yes. Tim Elliott.
I remember how tired she was. In one of her fights, she just laid on someone and they stood her up, and then she was just dead.
That was against the Brazilian girl that was poking.
Yep,
Jillian Robertson's.
Yep.
I forget who it is.
Gina Cyborg, Ronda. Yeah, all right, we got the same one. Cool. And then the main event, Prohaska versus Glover Teixeira.
Oof.
Unbelievable fight. And like Anthony Smith said, maybe it was because both of these guys were clashing each other on an off night, because a lot of the mistakes that they made were not, I don't want to call them silly as a guy who's never had a fight in my life, but just mistakes you wouldn't expect to see at that level.
Well, the number one was Glover in the end.
In the 5th.
He had him. I'm sorry,
going for the guillotine.
He had him knocked out. He had him like out in his. I'm thinking one more punch. I think one more clean punch, Jiri falls and they stop it.
I will say though,
he had him hurt badly.
Glover's just the perfect example of Glover's health bar going the opposite way of every other human being. He looked as good in the 5th round as
his striking was the best.
He looked
came out the 5th
so
round,
good in the 5th round. I was like, holy shit,
what?
This guy could fight for 12 rounds. Yeah. He's not gonna, because there was a point I think in the 3rd or the 4th where Jiri was hurting Glover, and then Glover was like going for takedowns and they weren't really working. He just looked so tired, but he sat on that stool in the 4th and he was just like, no, I'm gonna win this. Yeah, so I mean, I love him.
It just broke.
All right, so
it was such a good
heartbreaking
fight,
loss.
but
Yeah,
it was such a good fight, but just broke my heart
I
to
was
see him
really
lose
rooting
in
for him,
that
too.
way. To lose by submission, when he was up on the cards, clearly was winning the 5th round.
Yeah, he won. Yeah,
He had
Oh.
full mount with 2 minutes left to go in the fight.
I thought there was a couple different times in multiple rounds where I understand it's easy to say when you're on the couch. I'm sure obviously he was very tired. It's tough to sit there and just like rain punches like that for so long. But I thought there was like 2 times at least where if he just had it in him to just let go.
Yeah.
And I understand because I'm sure he didn't want to risk losing position because he was a dominant position. So I'm not trying to sit here and like act like I know more than he does, but just sitting watching, there was a couple times that I was like, oh, I feel like if he was able to keep the position and just let the hands go, that it could have potentially got stopped.
I think Jiri just saying very nice,
Oh,
but nothing.
so funny.
Is
Very
I think
nice.
it got to him.
Like,
Very
he was
nice.
saying it like it was
before
Borat.
it.
Yeah. But
Also,
still nothing.
There was some crazy how like Glover dominated the first. I believe it was the first round.
Yes.
And then at the very end, Jiri landed
landing a hammer fist. I thought he was going to knock him out with some of those. Like he could have knocked him out.
I was like, oh my god, he's going to get knocked out.
Yeah.
He just dominated the first round.
But I mean,
Dana's reaction. He tapped. No fucking
Well,
way.
also because from the TV angle, you couldn't see
the angle was the butts.
because then they showed the other side and you see where he was like feverishly tapping.
Yeah.
He had him in a bad spot.
All right. So question. I think my first reaction was one of the best fights of 2022, and then the reaction turned into one of the best fights ever. I think I disagree with that.
Crazy.
That's recency bias, but I
Recency
get
bias.
it from, especially
it
if
was
you're
just
a
so
new UFC
wild,
fan,
like
I get that.
the exchanges and the reversals,
The
and
end.
The
and
momentum shifts. Yeah.
The momentum shifts, the punching power on both sides was just like
I agree
tremendous.
with you.
In the end, I thought Jiri was about to lose the fight too. So him winning it with 30 seconds left, like that adds to the allure of, oh my god, what an insane
And it was
fight.
main event, light heavyweight championship.
He was plus 1,600 by submission.
Yeah.
Literally the least likely outcome on like
and
of
he
anything.
submitted a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, a guy that's
like
so
a high level
who's
black belt.
so respected on the ground
Yeah.
that it's almost like when what's his name got is that Rodolfo Vieira when he got submitted when he got so tired? It was like, how did this guy who won like the ADCC get submitted? But geez,
just that literally an inch, like it's crazy. Like you just an inch.
It's
All it takes.
I'm not sure if they fought 100 more times that Jiri would ever tap out Glover
I
again.
agree. It's
Yeah.
crazy. That was such a wild.
that's why I still
scenario.
think like people are like, oh, why was 16-1 worth it? No, I don't think so. I think
No.
By the way, I don't know how
50 to
you
1,
guys feel
maybe.
about this. I think they should run this back right away.
I agree 1,000%.
Okay.
I think it should be the next fight.
Yeah.
No question.
All right.
In this division, especially, like it's not like there's contenders like lined up out the door.
So Blachowicz was not. I don't think they were kind of like playfully talking shit after. It was almost like hard to tell whether it was like serious or not. I don't think they actually dislike each other. But also, I mean, when we had Dana on, I literally asked him point blank, "Is Clef Smith it's a #1 contender fight?" And he said yes.
Yeah.
Which that fight's happening in the next month and a half.
if anybody in
But
the
now I think that since that fight's in a month and a half, I don't know when they would run this back, but I think you almost have to run this
fight
fight
was
back.
so
And Blachowicz,
good, so
I don't think
close.
was like he beat Rakic from Rakic just like tearing his ACL
yeah,
in a fight that was like 1-1.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Blachowicz should just like
very
get
even
the
to
next
that
fight
point.
like right after.
and
from that.
Blachowic's rise to the top was he beat
He knocked out Corey Anderson.
Corey Anderson,
Yeah.
which is
He knocked out Luke Rockhold.
Luke Rockhold. Then he fought Dominic
the
Reyes.
Rock-
Yeah, he knocked out
knockout,
Dominic Reyes.
like,
was vicious.
vicious,
They
but
both
it's
are pretty
it's
vicious.
aged poorly in terms of like Rockhold is. I mean,
And then
the
Dominic
weakest
Reyes
chin in the
was
division,
Was for the belt.
for the belt because John let.
Yes.
and then he
Yeah.
beat Adesanya.
Yeah,
you
He
know,
lost to Thiago Santos.
I remember that. If anybody in the chat could help me out, I don't know. I wonder if they dislike each other. I don't know about Czech and Poland's relations.
Well, I don't think they dislike each other.
No.
Even when I saw Jiri say after, he just thinks it would be this big, like, you want to be in Europe, this huge, like, European
That would be
fight,
cool.
which would be cool, I admit. But
Like Eastern European kind.
I just don't think Jan should just like get thrown right in the next title shot.
So what happens with Ankalaev Smith? They
I
get
think,
Jan,
they wait.
I think the winner of that should get like the winner of the rematch. That's
Yeah.
what I think.
and then Jan.
Especially if-
Jan just like
I think Jan should have to like fight somebody. Like I think he should fight somebody
Okay.
else.
all right.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
kind of how
I
I
think,
feel.
fair.
that's fair, being how he won the last fight. Yeah. Did you guys see the crowd that Jiri had?
Oh my
when he
god.
went
Oh,
back
and
to Czech
Czech was
Republic?
unbelievable.
Oh my
the
God.
video was crazy when it
And
pans
shout out the
around
chat. He beat Jacare as
and
well.
you see it goes all the way down the
All
block.
the way down that block.
That was
Awesome.
Crazy.
I love seeing that shit. It's crazy.
I love that. I think that's so awesome.
And he
You see
seems so
McGregor's tweet
excited
about it too.
Yeah.
McGregor's tweet is funny.
It's
He's
funny.
like, all I got was a
Europeans
howdy.
love it. Like even like in Adesanya's video, like he was cheering nuts for Jiri.
Well, I think Jiri's same management as Adesanya
that
and
makes
McGregor
sense.
paradigm.
Yeah,
That
him
makes
him
sense.
and McGregor.
I
too,
think
same.
Tim
They're all
Simpson is,
paradigm because they
yeah.
were quote tweeting
I
that
wonder
paradigm
if-
tweet.
I wonder if Adesanya ever went up again, maybe Jiri would be like a little better matchup.
Yeah, it's fucking hard. But I mean, I guess less grappling. Yeah.
And then
Just based on that, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing, but
I wonder if he would even want to with the like paradigm, like if he cares about that.
yeah, I don't know. Just a thought I had just off the top of
Yeah.
my head right now, but
I'm calling this now. Obviously this has like a long ways to go, but somebody like Jamal Hill must be like licking his lips like right now at all like the chaos at
True.
the top.
Alex Weber, I think, just had a really good thought that Blachowicz fight the winner of Jamal Hill Santos.
Yeah.
I like that.
yeah.
thought.
yeah,
Especially
because
as he already lost to
Santos, like
It's becoming
I
like a
think
great
that's I think
division.
that's a very good
I think
thought.
San- matchups
Santos.
together.
I think Santos knocked him out in Poland.
He might have. It was a bad. He came in.
It was
one
a
of those-
it was a day
he went
card.
face down.
It was a day card in the spring of 2019, I think.
Yeah, that I
like
I'll
that
check. I'll
thought.
check where it was, but it was the main event in 2019 and early 2019. So sounds right.
I remember I watched him knock him out on the street on Arthur Avenue, Bronx. My friend was like, "We got to go to this Darty," and I was like, "No, this fight's almost over."
You're
It
like Polish
wasn't.
power, bro.
It wasn't. I bet Thiago Santos, and I was outside. Oh, what deli was I outside? I was outside some deli. But before we get into news, PFL is back this week.
PFL is back.
Eliminations on the line as fighters compete for spots in the PFL playoffs, which is huge.
This is I believe the last round of fights before the playoffs.
It's the round 4. They have 6 rounds.
Okay, so it's
this
not
is
quite
this
the
is
last.
the 4th.
And then Antonio Carlos Jr. is up again.
Yeah.
This is on Friday night. You can watch it on ESPN,
on ESPN
Plus
Plus, yeah.
and ESPN at ESPN Plus at 7 p.m.
I prefer ESPN Plus because they don't censor the curse words.
And then 10 p.m. you can stay on ESPN Plus, or you
Yeah.
can tune in on ESPN. We of course love PFL. We've talked about it a lot before. They take a little bit of a break in the middle of the season. Who else is on this card?
We'll be at the MSG card for sure. Probably sitting
100%.
next to Don Davis ringside.
Oh, Cassius, yeah, Cassius Clay Collard.
I mean, him and Stevens was like a potential like fight of the year.
That was
in
up
any
there.
unbelievable fight.
And he's going up against Alexander Martinez. So I mean, I'm 100%.
And Stevens is on this card.
Yeah, so this should be
Roush-
Stevens
and-
fighting.
He's fighting Miles Price. And
Oh,
and,
that's a pretty
and
good
Roush
fight.
Manfio, who was the lightweight champ last year, fighting the Canadian gangster.
I love the Canadian
gangster. We got to get him on the show sometime.
Yeah, he's great.
We'll talk
might
more
follow
about
Honestly,
this.
there's a really good card. Like even Robert Wilkinson, I really
it's
like.
a serious card.
He looked great in his last fight. He actually, I said this last time. He was Adesanya's debut in the UFC. Now he's a light heavyweight. Also, Amari Akhmedov, like
Yep.
longtime UFC
He
veteran,
had a sick knockout.
crazy knockout in his last fight in PFL. A lot of really good fights in this card. PFL has put together some really awesome cards.
This is Friday night. We'll be back on Friday, and obviously we'll be previewing the Austin UFC card, but also previewing that PFL card a little bit more. Maybe we'll have some picks.
Yeah.
For
Maybe we
sure.
could put together like a PFL parlay. It may not be on the sports book, but we can just give it to the loyal
sure.
spinning
Absolutely.
the spinnies. I
Tune
guess.
in on Friday for
Spinnies.
that. Let's talk some headlines. The first one I want to bring up is just something that we talked about as like a hypothetical months ago. We were like, McGregor's going to waltz his way right back into a title shot, isn't he? And Charles Oliveira came out and said like yesterday, like, I want McGregor next. I think that would be great for my legacy, exciting for the fans and everything. This just cracks me up. I know it makes some people so angry and they're like, oh, if that happens, I'm going to blow a fucking gasket. I just am like, yep, this is par for the course for McGregor. He makes people so much money that they just cannot say no.
And just like it's what Oliveira said too. Like he's just done so much for the sport.
Yeah.
That it's like just having that win on just the feather in your cap is very nice. But honestly, I think that him saying that I think is why like Dana loves like the McGregor Chandler fight, because it makes so much sense for two reasons. One, just obviously pure action. That's an unbelievable fight action wise. The two, they're just gonna throw hands. And it makes sense because if McGregor wins that fight, Chandler's like number 4.
Yeah.
So if he wins, like you can actually say like, all right, like throw him in the title shot, and you can't get as mad about it if he comes straight from beating a top 5 contender to title shot.
Would he be they were talking about McGregor and Chandler at 170.
I know. I was thinking about that.
I think the fight would probably be at 170, but I feel like it's McGregor.
Weird.
Like wouldn't matter. Like
Yeah.
I think they would just be like fuck it.
I love McGregor. I think you should make him fight at 155 though, to get a title shot at 155.
Yeah, I mean, it makes
Because
I don't
McGregor
know
will
if
do
he
what he
can-
needs to do to get down to 155. It's for the belt.
Yeah.
It's just tough. I don't know if he really wants to, like, obviously he's rehabbing the leg right now. Leg looks seriously
Better,
good.
yeah, it looks better for sure.
But I don't know if he really wants to make it down to 55 now. But
Yeah.
that 70
said he
fight,
doesn't.
that 70 fight with Chandler would be a really
Awesome.
good fight.
Yeah.
he's still not in the USADA database.
That's weird to me.
From what
We know.
from what Dana said, I think it sounds like the McGregor fighting again won't be till like the very end of the year, potentially even early 2023. It could be
Everything
that long.
I've heard is next year.
That's
All
what Dana.
So then
made it
he has
sound like.
more than enough time to get into the USADA database.
Floyd exhibition in Japan. Is this the one that happened, or is this
No,
one that got booked?
It just
there's
it
one
just
just
got
happened.
booked.
There's
I was
he
gonna say the
booked
one that
another
just
one.
happened. I saw
Dude,
all
there's
the
so-
clips of that.
There's so many, like just random, like it's like, oh, Floyd's fighting. I'm like, what?
and
I
they're
think he
so
just needs-
not
I think he
talked
just
about
needs
at
the
all.
money.
Yeah.
It's against like
I mean, because
Asakara.
there's such cans. It's like not even like he just beats him up.
Did you see the last one? The second the guy threw like a hard punch, Floyd just went ham on him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I think that was like kind of like the Logan Paul, right? Who we fought?
Yeah.
I think like Logan didn't really
Who he
even
still
hit him
hasn't
that
paid
much.
yet, right?
Yeah, he hasn't. Logan's suing him.
That's fucked up.
You didn't know that, Jack? I'm surprised. It's kind of like he's talked about it a lot.
Yeah, no,
He
I'm.
went on Andrew Schultz podcast. They asked him they asked him point blank how much he owes him. He said just under $5 million.
That's a lot of. That's more
So
than
also,
Jersey Jerry.
this is what he did too. So basically, what he did was he was doing these like under the table like cash deals where it was almost like he was basically getting these things from like I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something he was selling like under the table, like from the fight itself, where Logan was like, "You're literally using my likeness, and I'm not
Yeah.
getting any cut." So he's suing him for like the actual money he owes him, and then there's some under the table money that he basically was just like steal. That I think he's done it over the years too. Was kind of like been good at making these under the table cash deals, where I get with other fights, Floyd's like obviously the main sell, and Floyd's the main sell any fights he's in, but like with Logan Paul is also a main draw from like a different audience.
Totally.
So he was kind of like, what, like you're just basically stealing. Like I should be getting.
Well,
like, half
look
some
at
of
the
this
Floyd
money.
exhibitions that he's been doing compared to the one versus Logan Paul.
Yeah.
How talked about they were.
For sure. And that one actually, it did like, I think like close to $1 million. It
Yeah.
actually did like pretty well.
The press conferences we were talking about and everything. MVP is fighting Mike Perry in bare knuckle fighting
Wild.
championship.
So
In
wild.
One of the
London.
weirdest things.
So
like,
wild.
In
why
London.
is he doing
Kind of
this?
awesome though.
Yeah, I like just because I mean, it's badass, I guess, but like this is a pretty big risk to
So-
fight Mike Perry in bare knuckle.
Apparently he said he just really wanted to box. And somehow this fight
He
came
has
up.
boxed in the past, not bare knuckle.
And
I
get-
think his striking is just so much better than Mike Perry's that he'll just
he's
be
so
able
much
to
quicker.
quicker.
But Mike Perry in bare knuckle is like different. It's
Like,
like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're-
brawl, yeah.
yeah,
It does. That organization's like made for Mike Perry. It's just like
Mike Perry beat the boxer in the triad combat when they
Yeah.
did that. Shut up, Mike Perry.
Beat
What a
Julian-
character.
I believe he beat Julian Lane his last fight, the let me bang bro guy.
yeah. Poirier fighting in August, potentially. He tweeted August 20th. I tweeted in response, like Nathan, because he always tweets Nathan. And he liked that tweet. So maybe that could be the fight that's happening.
The co-main in Salt Lake City.
Would be pretty fucking sweet.
And
The
him-
that would be
him
the
and
co-main
Nathan?
of Usman Edwards, right?
Yes.
That's the card.
and talk about another banger that got added to that card. Aldo against
Merab.
Merab.
Great fight.
That fight's so
Good for
interesting to
Merab
me.
getting that fight too.
But then if Merab wins that, then we run into the issue of will Merab fight
Aljo.
Aljo? And Aljo said, no, I'll go up to 145. I don't care.
Well, I think if that was the case, just because Aljo as well, I think they would potentially give like if Cheeto beats Dominic Cruz, he might jump up instead.
Yeah.
Something
Okay.
like that. I'm just
Okay.
thinking, I'm thinking just based on that.
Aljo said he
the
would move
Merab-
up.
Right?
What happened?
Eventually.
Didn't
Aljo said he
champ,
wouldn't
you
fight
should
Merab.
make-
They're like
Wait,
best
no,
friends.
The
say
champ
say
should
that
get
again.
to
I
stay.
just didn't hear.
Did Aljo say he'll go up to 145?
Yes.
He said he would move
Lee
up.
told me that.
I think that's weird.
So
I
shout
think
out
if you're the
Lee.
champ,
But I
make
think
your
for
partner
him-
move up.
I'm pretty sure him saying that was thinking more that it was going to be like multiple title defenses. Like I don't think when he said that, I don't think he was thinking Merab was going to be up there like in like 5 minutes.
Got
Yeah.
it. Got it.
Whereas now if he beats Aldo, he would be.
I mean,
like, right
Merab's on quite a run, and
He
maybe,
is.
yeah.
It's such a weird take though from Aldo. Like he fought down like with Font last time, beat him 50-45, right? But then you're taking another fight down again, while like Cheeto and like a bunch of other people are just fighting up all the time.
Also,
right?
Well, Cheeto's fighting down
Aljo's-
this time.
Well, yeah,
technically,
exactly.
But it's Dominic Cruz. So it's,
Aljo's had the belt for almost a year now.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we don't think of it that way, but he's had it for he's
Yeah.
defended
I
it.
guess it technically was one title defense. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I mean, everyone would probably want to see him fight Jan again, but like Jan has to work his way back up.
And Dillashaw, reports keep coming out that say like Dillashaw isn't ready yet to like fight. Like, are you gonna put out?
What's wrong with him? Meniscus?
It's his
The knee. Yeah.
the knee still, from the
So maybe-
Corey fight.
Do you think they maybe just like do the trilogy? Do the
I
Jan
could see
Sterling
it,
trilogy
yeah.
maybe? Because
I
Jan
don't think
now
people
now
would have an
now
issue
Peter
with it.
Jan is like the only one in the top like in that top group.
Sandhagen.
That is,
But
and
then-
Sandhagen.
Oh yeah.
And they already fought too.
But then-
and that was a really good fight.
but
But,
then-
they already fought.
And Sterling beat him
Sterling
too.
already beat Sandhagen. Like there's.
But
not
then
really,
if Jan beats Sterling, then we have to do Jan and Sterling for a fourth time.
Yeah, makes no
Yeah.
sense.
And then you run into like the Figueiredo.
Yeah,
Marino,
like
running this
that
back 100
division's at a
times, like-
standstill. But I mean, it's not the end of the world. Like I would watch Aljo and Jan main event a card for the next 4 to 5 years.
Yeah,
It would get boring, but I would do it every time.
It's like, who does Sandhagen get? Like Song and Dong or
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah, man,
Us.
that
Yeah.
fight would make a lot of sense.
That would be
Yeah.
a
That's
sick
kinda what
fight.
I've been
Oh my
thinking.
God.
Because Sandhagen's in this weird spot now where he's like had these really close fights. Well, I guess the Aljo fight wasn't close. He got tapped out pretty early, but I think that could be a close fight. They run it back.
I mean,
But he loses a pretty competitive fight to Peter Yan.
and then I think that Dillashaw, a lot of people thought
He,
that.
I thought he beat Dillashaw.
Me too.
He got a raw deal in that, so that's kind of a weird spot. I don't know. That's interesting. It's that foursome is kind of weird, like what they do with the four of them, considering they've all kind of fought each other already.
This news story really made me laugh when I saw it on Twitter. I was actually awake for this. One of the Road to the UFC events, there was a fighter that was smoking cigs right before he walked
Yeah,
out.
it was awesome.
I think they were like, "What would you have done differently or something?"
Oh.
And he was like, "Nothing." And they were like, "Not even like the smoking." And he's like, "Nah, this is life."
He's like just so like this is UFC 1 shit. This is
Who
like
tweeted?
UFC
Was it you that tweeted? Like, I wish I didn't bet on a guy that was just smoking cigarettes. Someone tweeted that, and it made me laugh. I was like, it was like I wish the underdog I bet on just like let me know he smoked cigs before I placed that bet.
He's
it's
a
like
TIE
that
fighter.
photo. It's the modern day photo of like that Chiefs quarterback and the halftime of Super
yeah.
Bowl 1 or whatever.
Ripping a
He's
beer
smoking,
at
and then there's like a
halftime.
beer at the bottom. Like this guy's like just alpha giga Chad. He's just like, I do what the fuck I want, and then I win. Obviously, that won't work when you go to. I think I think Magic quote tweeted is like, yeah, good luck for once you go up against like a Dagestani.
Yeah.
And he's like, because they will just destroy
Just
your
getting
lungs.
grapple.
Yeah.
fucked.
Yeah.
Jake Paul and Amanda Serrano are going to be on a Madison Square Garden card. When is this?
I think it's in
August?
August.
They're fighting
not-
each other.
They're not fighting each other, as the graphic actually makes it look. We don't know who they're fighting though. Either of them. Is there any guesses out there?
My guess for Jake could be Anderson Silva. We've
Anderson?
been saying it for a long time. He keeps being the only guy that makes sense. And you want to know who Logan said he might fight next is Dylan Dennis if he boxes again.
Interesting.
You were talking about Dylan Dennis.
I'm
with
surprised,
somebody
like-
yesterday, right?
I was talking to Devlin that we should get Dylan
Devlin.
Dennis for Rough and Rowdy to fight Bobby
100%.
Lang.
100%.
Ooh.
Oh, that would be sick.
That's who I said. I was
Let's
like,
put
Dylan
that
Dennis.
into
Dylan
the
wouldn't do
universe.
Well, what I said to Devlin was I think he would want an egregious amount of money that he's not worth.
No,
Yeah.
he would
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
He would want millions, I think.
I'd be like,
He
that's
likes-
literally what I said. I was like, he would ask for $1 million and like Dave would like.
I saw it.
Yeah.
He was in Barstool not too long ago. He did an interview.
With chicken fry, right?
Yeah. And then they went out to dinner. Dylan Dennis, his buddies, Brianna, O'Malley, and O'Malley's mom, I think.
Oh, you know
What-
who
what a
I saw?
crew.
Our former coworker Francis with Nate Diaz the other day.
Really? Oh, probably because he knows like Gillis.
Yeah, and
Shane Gillis has become like boys with Nate Diaz.
That's how it happened. I was like DMing back and forth with him, just trying to get the story on how it happened. And they randomly ran into him. He was with Gillis, and like him and Gillis ran into Nate on the street. And Nate was like, "Hey, want to come party with us?" And he was like,
yeah, he like loves Shane Gillis.
Absolutely. Now. So he
That's
said
awesome.
they were just shotgunning like White Claws in a parking lot, or High Noons in a parking lot until like 3 a.m. And the video that Francis sent me, it's like him getting like self-defense advice while everyone's shotgunning. Let me show it, because it's very funny. Hold on, I gotta find it. So it's like Francis getting self-defense in the corner of this parking lot.
That's not even Nate. That's not even Nate getting the self-defense.
Nope, and Nate's over here shotgun in High Noons with Shane Gillis and everyone.
That's hilarious.
If you haven't seen,
Was Maximoff with them?
I don't know. He might have been.
Maybe, yeah.
Francis posted the picture if you go on his Instagram.
That's sick.
But yeah, was there any other headlines? Oh, Ariel. There was a. Do we have beef? Do we not have beef with Ariel? I don't think we have beef.
That podcast
called
is
this
a good
couple
one.
of jabrones.
No,
people were like, "Is that a shot?"
I got annoyed because
I think he was just.
I got annoyed because I thought that was the only thing he said.
No, he gave us some
But
credit.
but when I saw that he said that he liked you and all that, and like I was like, all right, whatever, it's fine.
That was we used to, because I think in my first interview with Dana, I talked some shit about Ariel, and then I was like, well, I thought you had some issues with me. We went back and forth for a while. We've had these conversations in person. Ariel has made it clear to me now he does not have beef with me.
All right,
I don't have beef with him.
I think they the one they have on Spotify is a great podcast, and obviously the MMA Hour is like one
With
of
BT Carroll, I love.
Yeah. The MMA Hour is one of the most influential like MMA UFC media things of all time.
They're live now. We're going up again head to head with them.
Hell yeah. But the Jabrones, so Robbie, I, and Ev got tagged in a tweet like, what do you guys think about being called out? And then we responded. We were like, can you give us timestamps?
Yeah, we were like, what did he say? Like, why would
and then I went and listened to it, and you texted me right after and said, oh, that really wasn't that bad at all.
Nah.
And I screen recorded and put it on Twitter because I wanted to like
almost like he was like saying like knuckleheads. Like,
yeah,
it was such a like,
and like we are like, if somebody called me like a jabron, but like I know they don't dislike me, like I'm not like you're wrong. Like we are. This is jabrones. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we should call our fans
the Jabron Hour.
No, I just thought that there's probably the thought he still kind of didn't like Barstool in general, and like you. And I thought that was the only thing he said. Like, so I just thought, because he just preaches like journalism, I was like, listen, like, because also I was thinking from the mindset, like, we didn't try to like set him up and make him look bad. He put out a legitimate report. And we considered him. We considered him like a legit, like we thought he was right. So you asked him the question. It wasn't some like malicious attack on him.
No,
it was generally just trying to confirm from Dana the question. So I just thought he was coming off like kind of just like being like condescending to me is my one like very pet peeve. Like if you're condescending to me, it just makes me like I get like really fired up. So I was fired up in the moment, but then once I saw the clip of him saying he liked you, then I was like, then it was all good. Because I didn't want credit for myself. As long as he just said Barstool or like Robbie, like I was good. Like that was fine with me. So that's the only reason I was upset for like a second. But I don't actually. I mean, I watched like his interviews. Like I like Ariel.
Oh, yeah.
I more was just like, why is he talking shit for like no reason?
Yeah.
But now the context, I'm like, nah, who cares? Like it's fine.
Yeah. So that's us. We're the Jabron Hour. We'll embrace it.
Yeah, maybe instead of the Spinnies, we'll call
the Jabrones.
The Jabrones. Like, shout out to the Jabrones in the chat.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe put it on a t-shirt. I think that was it for our headlines.
Patty
right?
and Paulo Costa are best friends.
Oh yeah,
Patty and Paula. Yeah, they've been tweeting each other back.
They said
and forth.
after their next fights they're gonna have an eating contest.
I love that. Let's make it a Barstool eating contest.
Oh, whatever happened. I mean, it's.
Can we put like Roy Nelson in there? Can we make it like all MMA unit legends? The Bellator card too. Bellator 283. Is that
that's going to be
South Dakota? Is that
that's going to? I don't. I'll look it up, but it's a sick card.
South Dakota would make sense because that's where what's his name's from. Who just won the belt? Storley's from South Dakota, I think.
Yeah, I think like Sioux Falls.
I mean, it's
that would make sense.
That makes sense. Yeah,
I think that's where they have like they have a big arena
there
or something.
It is in Washington at a casino.
They did announce a South Dakota one.
They for sure they might have.
That's probably when Storley's fighting.
But 280, that might be 284 or something like that.
True.
But 283 is Patrici Pitbull against Outlaw for the title, and then Douglas Lima and Jason Jackson, Usman, Nurmagomedov, Adam Piccolotti, which had a good fight in his last Bellator one. It's a legit card. Bobby King's on it too. It's gonna be a good card.
So look out for that. Look out for PFL on Friday, and we'll be back on Friday as well to break down the PFL card, break down the UFC Austin card. It's going to be a good time. Tune in to the Jabron Hour then. See you next time, Jabron.